call with your support team, somebody in there, and make sure you know exactly what numbers you can get them at, their home numbers or their mobile numbers, all of that. And maybe even set it up. Maybe even have a pre-thought before that and schedule an appointment. So, and understand that following up is everything in the system. You've got to follow up. If you don't, if you put somebody through the system, you three-wayed them into a 15-minute message. Maybe you've mailed them out an information pack. You've sent them over to your website. Maybe you've done a combination of all of them. Maybe you've done just one or two of them. You've three-wayed with your upline at this point in time. But now you got to follow up. You've got to follow up. It's the key to success in this business. I found that with working these leads that Cutting Edge Media provides, is that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where 85% of all your sales are closed between the 5th and the 12th exposure. A lot of times that occurs, and really what you want to do is compress your success. Compress the amount of exposures into a shorter time frame so that you're doing the right things and you can get excited about that. The next thing I do is, and this is very important, maybe I've mailed this stuff out to them in the mail and I'm following up. Right before I'm even following up, what I've done is I've already set up a phone appointment, okay? What I like to do is I like to say, hey, Mike, it's great. Tonight's Monday night. We've gone through the process. You've liked what you've heard so far. You do have interest. You're going to review the information in the mail. And we're going to kind of go through that with you. But basically what I'd like to do at this point in time is go ahead and set up a time to follow up with you because I value your time. I understand how valuable it is. My time's valuable as well. So let's go ahead and set it up. Now, is this the best time of day to catch you? Maybe we're talking in the evenings or something, or maybe it's Saturday morning. And what I'm going to do is I want to follow up during the week, and I'll say, what is the best day of the week to follow up? You can be available on Tuesday or Wednesday. And you give them that choice close. They might say Wednesday, say, okay, mornings or evenings, and they'll say evenings, and then you say 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. You give them an option, and then they say 9 o'clock. Say, great, I'll call you Wednesday night at 9 p.m. If you will, go grab your calendar, grab your organizer, grab your day timer, whatever it might be, and write that in there and know that I'll be following up with you. In the meantime, make sure that you review the video that I sent, the audio, the CD-ROM, whatever it might be, and review that information. Go to the website, check it out thoroughly so that I can answer any of your questions in a more positive fashion way. So, that's kind of what the system that I use, Mike, because I like to walk people through that system and just really get them compressed. Compress that success as quickly as possible. Build the rapport. I think that's important. And again, where the follow-up comes is that's really where the friendship starts to build, is on the second, the third time that you talk. It's a totally different time, 3-4 days later. Maybe the fourth time that you talk, they turn around, they get involved in the business. So following a system is vital to your success, to your company's success. You want everybody to be on the same page. You look at McDonald's, and everybody walks into a McDonald's. They have that setup. It's a system. Everybody knows where the bathrooms are at a McDonald's. It's always on the right-hand side of the McDonald's, right? Everybody knows where the fry cooker is. It's always on the left-hand side of the building. So there's a system in place at McDonald's. There's a system in place with your company, and there should be a system in place with your business, and treat it as a business. And I want you to just really, have that CEO mindset and just really just think of yourself as being on the board of directors of Coca-Cola or IBM, Microsoft, whatever it might be, but treat it that seriously, and I promise you it will pay you like you would never dreamed you could be paid. It's incredible. So, kind of with that said, that's what my feelings are with following a system. So let me turn it back over to you, Mike.
Absolutely. And what else you're going to find, folks, is as you go through the exposure process, and for some people, here's the heads up I want to give you. Some people, this might take 6 days, it might take 6 weeks, and for some people, it might take 6 years. You never really know, but you have to make sure you're there. You're the one who's going to be reaping that benefit. Now, here's something I want you to write down. The sorting process. So a lot of times what happens, we take prospects through the exposure process. And what we have to understand is how the law of averages are going to work. And they always work in our favor. I mean, we all know we're looking for, our links, our leaders. We talked about that already. We're looking for people who will, because I'm a true believer that anybody can do this industry. I want to find the person that is willing to make the sacrifice, the commitment. If I'm going to give them my time, my energy, I'm going to bring value to his or her family, so on and so forth. I want to make sure that they're committed to this 1,000%. So, in other words, look for people that will participate. Not people that will procrastinate. There's a major difference. People with reasons to work. Mike already mentioned earlier, people that are teachable, so on and so forth. But again, just understand that the sorting process can be very frustrating at times because you are allowing the laws of averages to work. Write that down and remember that the laws of averages are always in your favor.
Well, one of the statements, Mike, I love that. That's great because one of the things that I have, it's actually a little plaque that I have set up in my office that I look at every single day when I'm sitting in my office, and it says professionals sort, amateurs convince. We're not here to convince anybody of anything, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to sort through the numbers. You want to be a pro, and that's a vital key to your success, okay? Professionals sort, amateurs convince. It's very important to your success in this industry as a whole. Now, one of the things that we talk about is exposure is everything. I have what I call the 4 laws of recruiting, and there's probably a few more, but hey, that's Michael Dorsey's thing, right? The 4 laws of recruiting. The first law is exposure is everything. It's the process to become successful. Big numbers equals big results. The more people that you talk to, the more money you're going to make, especially if you show them in a professional way. Jim Rohn always says it, success is numbers. One of the big keys that I'd like to share with you, in my opinion, is that you need to be spending 80% or more of your business time, whatever company you might be in, you need to spend 80% of your time on new business development and the other 20% trying to manage your business. Don't get stuck in a management mode. When you're first starting out, you need to be spending your time on new business development because that's where most of your growth is going to come. Most of the growth that we've been able to create in our businesses have always come in a short 90 to 120 day time frame, a massive burst. I learned a long time ago from our sponsor, a little acronym stated, it says AOMA. It stands for All Out Massive Action, and that's really what you want to focus on. It's about exposures. Exposures are everything. Spend 80% or more of your time on new business development. It's vital to your, vital key to your success in your business. Okay. Now, the second law of recruiting is the fortune is in the follow-up. Okay. As I stated earlier, it's absolutely in the follow-up and the follow-through. When Tiger Woods swings that golf club, what's he have to do when he's teeing off in the tee box? What's he going to do? He's got to follow through. And sometimes he looks like he's going to break his back, and that's like a chiropractor. That's an ad for a chiropractor when you see him because he's so good at that. But you have to follow through. Major League Baseball players, the same thing in any sport. When you talk about that, you've got to follow through, and that's kind of a key with what we talked about. Over 80% of all the sales are going to be closed between the 5th and the 12th exposure. So compress your success and follow through. Number 3, the third law of recruiting is work with the willing.